Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our service today, I'm going to kindly ask that we turn off or silence all cell phones, electronic devices. Thank you.
Adonai Adam Vatidechu Ben Enosh Vachashvechu Adam Le'avel Doma Yamav Kitzel Over Baboke Atzitz Vechalav La'erev the Molevi Ovish Tashev Enosh Adaka Vatomer Shuvu V'nei Adam. We gather with all our hearts, souls, and minds to remember, to cherish, and to celebrate the life of Harvey, of Dad, of Zadie, Uncle Harvey. We gather with many mixed emotions, certainly with the knowledge of knowing that he is on his way in all God's speed, to be with those who have gone before him in a reunification of love, but also with the knowledge of knowing that in Judaism, someone never really dies. Their successes and achievements, their likes, their loves, their family is passed on, what we call the dor vador, from generation to generation. And certainly we know that it is custom in Judaism to pass down the cherished memory and the life of someone with their naming of a boy and a girl that will come from the grandchildren. No rush. So I can certainly foresee in your homes, in years to come, many little Harveys running around. And those little Harveys will be taught that they are named after someone so very, very special that we gather here today with all of our love, our memories, and yes, our tears. In the 23rd Psalm, King David wrote that God will walk us through the valley of the shadow of death. King David never wrote that God will leave us there. So one day, when your days of mourning are more remote, one day you shall wake up, and what will be left in your hearts are simply the joy-filled and the happy memories of Dad, of Zeta, of Harvey. And those will be the memories that will forever be in your hearts, and those are the memories that will be passed down from generation to generation, and then you will know that God has walked you through that valley of the shadow of sadness into a valley of remembrance of happy in a life that we all gather to celebrate and remember today. So if you know the traditional words of the 23rd Psalm in English, we say them out loud together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Certainly, if you had the honor and the privilege of knowing Harvey, he went by many, many names of love according to your relationship with him, a formal name, a nickname, a silly name. When we say the words, we will remember. If you had the blessing of knowing him, please say the name that you called him in this life, that you will have the honor of calling him when you have the privilege of thinking of him. Say that name out loud in the rising of the sun, and at its going down, we will remember. When the cold of the winter turns into the rebirth of spring, we will remember. When the spring turns into the warmth of summer, we will remember. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember. So long as we live, he too will live, for he is now a part of us, as we will always remember. It is my honor to call up with love, Mark.
This is hard. I'd just like to share some memories of Dad. Dad started out as assistant manager of Kitty City. For those of you who don't know, Kitty City was a huge toy chain store, over 150 stores. Through hard work and resilience, Dad was promoted to manager of his own store. He paid his dues and performed well enough to be promoted to district manager, which he was responsible for 6 stores in his district. It was around holiday time in December when Dad gave me my first job. I was around 8 years old at the time. My job was to write down the toy, the time, and the channel it was on. He made me feel so important and praised me for a job well done. Of course, there's the other side of Dad appeared when I was about the same age. And being a typical curious kid, thought it would be very cool to put my head between the stair railing bars. Well, that didn't go as expected, as my head got wedged. Screaming for help, as there were no cell phones back then, Dad eventually came out of the house. Rather than freeing my head, I was interrogated as to what happened. After what seemed like an eternity, Dad freed my head from the clutches of the railing bars. Jumping ahead some years now, and I started driving. I needed a car. Dad offered his car to me for the day, provided I take him to work and pick him up. That was the deal. He taught me responsibility and accountability. Also the fact that if I was late in picking him up, there would be severe consequences. Needless to say, I arrived early each and every day I borrowed the car. After Dad retired from managing the state liquor stores, which was later, he got a part-time job with a caterer as a bartender. Once he established himself and proved his worthiness, which took all of about 2 days, he spoke to the caterer, and soon thereafter, it was Harvey and Mark behind the bar at weddings and bar mitzvahs. It was work, but we sure did enjoy ourselves. We had some great conversations in between dancing to the music. Dad made sure the kitchen staff saved me a meal every time. The compensation was okay, but it was really the time I spent bonding with Dad, which I enjoyed the most. Dad did not attend college, but he had a wonderful business mind, especially when it came to banking. He studied the banking laws and policies to the point he was more knowledgeable than the staff, including the management of the banks. And for those that know him, I am not lying. Dad believed conducting business in person was the proper thing to do. He told me you learn a lot when you see someone's face and their body language, and he is certainly correct. When Dad approached the front door of that particular bank, those employees knew they were in store for a long, tedious, calculating meeting they could not win. Dad is not only a wonderful husband, a father, a grandfather, but also someone I consider a close friend. He has played a major role in the man I have become, and I am forever grateful. I love you and miss you dearly.
We call up with love, Aaron.
My name's Aaron. I'm Dad's second son. I knew I was not going to be able to speak very long here. So, this speech comes from my heart, Dad. Dad came from humble beginnings. He was a very hard worker and a very proud man. He loved his family dearly. There was no sacrifice he wouldn't make for us. wear the same shoes for 40 years. Never complain about it. Never complained about anything. He simply wanted us to be well. That's exactly what he did. I'm going to miss him. I love you, Dad. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. I would really appreciate it. I know our family does. Thank you.
And to the family, in the days and the weeks to come, you will continue to fill out all these forms that you have already started for many, many different reasons. And on all of the forms will be Harvey's birth date. And after that date will be followed mostly by a little dash. And after that dash will be the date of his passing. Certainly it's important to remember his birth date each and every year, to remember his heavenly birthday. And in Judaism, it is of the utmost importance to remember the date of passing, to light the Yartzeit candle, the remembrance candle, on the anniversary. But even more important than those two bookend dates is that little dash in between. For that little dash is the reason all of us are here with love today. That little dash is the reason that Harvey, that Zadie, Uncle Harvey, Dad will be remembered for many, many generations. That little dash is a symbol of so much love given and certainly so much love received. So as you continue to fill out all these forms, as simply must be done, look at the two bookend dates of a life, but so much more importantly, look at that little dash, for that is a symbol of so very much love. The family sent me a picture of me and Harvey yesterday from Parker's Bend. And it certainly an honor to have been with him. And I want to thank you for that. If you are able to, we rise for the prayer of our departed, the El Malei Rachamim. Please rise. Emorei Rachamim Shochein Bamromim Hametzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina Im Kedoshei Medorim Gezorah Rakia Mazirim et Nishmat Herschel ben Moshe Visara Shelach Liolamo Barachamim Yastirechu בשצר כנפיו לעולמים. ויצרה ביצרה החיים נשמתו. אדוני נחלתו וינוח בשלום על משכבו ונאמר Amen. And in the space provided, please say the name out loud once more that Harvey will forever be known to you as. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in your eternal presence, and let his soul be bound up in the bonds of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace. And let us all say, Amen. We continue standing for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah bi'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitada v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudasha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imeru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imeru amen. When I die, if you need to weep, cry for someone walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around others and give them what you need to give me. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands and souls touch souls. You can love me most by sharing your simchas and multiplying your mitzvot. You can love me most by letting me live in your deeds and not on your mind. And when you say Kaddish for me, remember what our tradition teaches. Love doesn't die, only people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. And may the memory of Harvey, of Dad, of Zeta, or is it Zadie? Zeta, got it. And Uncle Harvey always be a blessing. You may be seated. The family would cordially like to invite all to the home of Mark and Eileen, straight from services today, tomorrow and Wednesday from 2 to 4, and Thursday from 6 to 8. And for those who would like to give in the name from your heart of Harvey, may give to the American Cancer Society at cancer.org or the ALS Society at ALS.org.